lined up for you, and that is again related to insurance, and that is health insurance. All you need to know before buying a health insurance plan. There were a lot of discussion on insurance since yesterday, and today also we had learned about insurtech and insurance. We have Mr. Shreeraj Deshpande with us. He is head of health business, SBI General Insurance. Welcome, Shreeraj sir. Today you have a topic that we all need to understand. All you need to know before buying a health insurance plan. Thank you so much, sir, for making it to Sunday morning and being present on 9th Annual Wealth Management Convention organized by AFM India, a global leader in financial education. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think that's an interesting topic. And while I will put on some slides on, I'll share some slides on this, but I think I would be happy if there is a good discussion which happens in this particular topic. So let me start this by just giving a country overview. If you look at what is the position of people having some health insurance coverage in this country, some sort of a health insurance coverage or health schemes, some sort of a healthcare financing mechanism which is available. Look at this pyramid. If you look at this pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid, you have some 10.5 crore families or 11 crore families supposed to be insured under Ayushman Bharat schemes, which partly are insured through insurance companies, or some are even self-managed schemes by respective state governments. You have around 17 crore lives under retail and group insurance schemes of the insurance companies, private, public, everyone put together. You have around 10 crore lives which are covered under schemes like CGHS, CSIC, ex-servicemen, contributory railway health schemes, etc. And of a population of 138 crores, estimated population of 60 crores is still there, which is still requires some sort of a health insurance coverage or healthcare scheme. So this is where we say that this missing middle is there, which requires some health insurance scheme. I'll come right straight to the topic. Now, what is that is required if one should know when you try to buy a health insurance plan. First of all, who is buying it? What is your need? What is the age of the person? Is he a young person? For example, if it's a young person, does he require maternity coverage also? So the type of coverages in the policy would also depend upon the age of a person. Is a person above 45 years or above 60 years? Person above 60 years may require shorter waiting periods. He cannot have 4 years waiting period for certain conditions as you see in other policies. So it depends upon. Second, what is the, have you planned to finance your healthcare needs? Do you also have some coverage through your employer or through other means? And are you looking at somehow to actually keep something alongside this, or it's all you are on your own? So I think these are factors which need to be considered, that what is your requirement. Second is, do you require just an hospitalization insurance? Do you require coverage for maternity, OPD, wellness benefits? So one has to choose, what is his required, look at his need, and then look at the products which are available. How do you select a sum insured? Sum insured is the maximum limit. So sum insureds could be on individual sum insured basis or a floater sum insured basis. Floater sum insured is when, the sum insured floats over people, a family covered under the policy. So then where do you live? A person living in metro cities, we know the cost of healthcare is quite high. It is at least 30-40% higher than tier 3 and 4 cities. So the person sitting in metros and major cities would always definitely require higher sum insured than people who are living in smaller cities. Do you have any other means of financing healthcare expenses, which I have already mentioned, employer-employee policy, etc.? And if it is, then, you could have options whether you require just a base plan which is there, or do you have a base plan, but now you want a plan which is sort of a top-up, which tops up over your existing plan to give you additional security. Then we need to check the coverage under the policy. So when we talk about coverage, minimum coverages which are there, hospitalization, pre and post hospitalization policies have coverages for daycare surgeries, daycare procedures, policies which have larger list of conditions which can be taken on daycare are better policies. There are policies which have offer maternity benefits. There are policies which have, offer OPD care, dental care. There could be policies which offer wellness benefits, etc. Of course, there is a cost involved have to have all these additional benefits. So that is where these are things which one individual needs to keep on checking. Now, also check whether the policies have any supplements. You could always, so it's very important to go through a health insurance policy in detail, the policy wordings, the exclusions, the supplements. So if it could have a supplement, it could say that this policy has a sum insured of 500,000, but it says that you are allowed to go to a room only of 2,000 per day and proportionate charges could be deducted. So one person needs to check whether this policy has got sublimits or internal limits for certain conditions or room rent restrictions, or even there are policies which have listed conditions, and when you see that the overall sum insured may be high, but the premium may be low. The premium may be low because it may have longer waiting periods, or it could have certain supplements which are there inbuilt into the policy. So this is something which a person has to know before taking a decision. Please go through the list of exclusions. What is covered and what is not covered is generally listed down in all insurance policies. So please go into the list of exclusions. Please check the waiting periods. So certain policies are there which have maximum waiting period even for pre-existing conditions, etc. Regulatorily, it is around 4 years. So there are policies in the market with shorter waiting periods, 2 years pre-existing exclusion, 3 years pre-existing exclusion, or there are certain list of conditions which also have waiting periods. For example, how do you differentiate people who are very young? They won't bother about any of these waiting periods. Even if it is 4 years waiting period, they feel that they are not going to require such. It's better to have a cheaper policy, but with a longer waiting periods for a younger age group. But for a higher age group, people may prefer to have shorter waiting periods. So this again differs from product to product. The wider the plan and the lower waiting period are policies which are better for a customer. So it should be more wider in coverage, lesser sublimits or no sublimits, and shorter waiting periods. I think this is something which ideally somebody should have. If somebody says what is the minimum sum insured you should have, would say in today's world, at least in metros, one should have at least 10 lakhs of sum insured, or in other cities, 5 lakhs of sum insured, looking at the way healthcare expenses or healthcare inflation is taking place in this particular. And at a younger age, if you buy a policy with a higher sum insured, it helps because a person tries to increase his sum insured at an elder age. It becomes difficult sometimes. He has already suffered from certain conditions, and then that he may have to undergo medical evaluation again, and there could be some issues. So it is always better to have higher sum insureds from the start. Now, if you get your affordability and decide the sum insureds and the plan a person needs to opt for. Today, insurance companies have also come out products with installment options. You could have monthly options, quarterly options, or half-yearly options. So this makes it much more affordable to people. At last but not the least, look at the network of hospitals, because people would like to have cashless hospitalizations for all. And look at the quality of hospitals, network hospitals which are there, the size of hospitals, looking at where a person is mostly staged in. At least they should be having a good amount of hospitals in these areas, and good hospitals should be on board. Finally, it comes to whom are you going to select the insurance company, the profile of the company, what is the feedback about the services of the insurance company, they use a in-house, do they have an in-house model or a TPA model? So what is the feedback and track record of this companies in claim settlement? I think this is finally it's the services which matter at the most. So I think this with this, I end my presentation. If there are any questions anybody would like to ask, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Shreeraj sir. Yes, there are questions on insurance. This is a topic I think where we always have questions because people want to know more, but they do not have the right person to again approach. What about hospitalization cover in special child suffering from some psychological need?
So, policies, see, basically, if you look at the products which are there, so whenever it's a mental illness by regulation, any type of mental illness or is covered, and we have to treat it as any other illness, which is, so it could be a psychological or any extent it could be. Now, if you look at the product, our products are either hospitalization or there are certain products which also include OPD treatment, etc. So if the product is a hospitalization treatment, then hospitalization would be required for any claim to be payable. But if there is any OPD coverage, consultations and medicine charges up to the limits of OPD policies stand covered under.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question in, can employer-employee policy be sold to partnerships or family offices?
So employer-employee policies, it can be to a partnership firm, it can be sold to a partnership firm. And so there is no issue in that actually. The only thing, the minimum group size has been defined by the regulator, so it should be a minimum group size of 7 people, which required to be there.
Sir, again, people are again asking about the waiting period. With higher age new entrants, why waiting period is still keeping longer, say 48 months, etc.?
So it depends upon the product. So there are products in the market which have a shorter waiting period also. So all this has a bearing on, as correctly said, even earlier I had mentioned, higher age group people would like products with, shorter waiting periods, because 4 years is a very long period for anybody to wait at that particular age. So there are products in the market which have shorter waiting period. Only thing, there would be some effect on the premium. So it has an effect on the pricing.
That is right, sir. That is right. Sir, again, a lot of people yesterday also asked about the claim settlement process, when the clients, when the person suffers, because hospitals are charging more what they are claiming from insurance company. And that is what even Yashu sir answered. People still want to know more about it if you want to throw some light on it, sir.
So I think there has been a lot of, so basically let's come to one particular thing that many times, before this pandemic happened, there have been certain, hospitals are tied up with TPAs or insurance companies. There are certain pre-decided packages and rates which are agreed to, and they are expected to stick to the same. And later on, what happened is there is a period where so many, there was a lot of, during the pandemic, the PPE kits came in, the cost of PPE kits and extra costs came in, whichever came. So again, that had to be rationalized. So there was nothing called, this was not in the packages. So the GI Council came in and then they decided some amount of, average cost which could be reimbursed on the basis to the hospitals as well as to insurance company, to the insurers. Now, the issue which comes in is that, yes, the biggest problem which comes in is that while insurance companies are regulated, TPAs are regulated, there's no sort of a regulation in terms of the healthcare sector, which is the hospitals, etc. So the point, it is a matter of escalation which has to be done, that if somebody is deviating from the normal practices, it has to be brought to the insurance company's notice as well as the TPA's notice, and that this is an hospital which is charging us more than what, what is there, what has been decided. So insurance companies will check whether if the hospital is charging more than what has been actually agreed with that hospital for those conditions. If they are charging that, then they could, decide to delist them or take action in terms of that. But yes, looking at the type of healthcare sector we are in, I think this does happen. And we believe that if it is also the duty of the insured to actually bring it to the notice of people that somebody is deviating from normal practices.
Thank you so much, sir. People are asking, medical insurance does it cover cancer treatment? And in that line, people also want to understand super top-up plans. So, for example, how much premium increase can be affected if base policy is rupees 5 lakh and super top-up is 20 lakh?
So two things: cancer treatment, yes, as cancer, all types of treatments are covered. Cancer treatment is also covered under medical insurance policies. So when a person who is, of course, the only thing is it should not be pre-existing. That is the only condition which is, and about if there are any waiting periods applicable in a particular type of a a benefit product, then otherwise treatment for cancer is definitely covered under policies. So now, what is a base plan and what is a top-up plan? We know what is a base plan. Then there is another category. There is a simple top-up and a super top-up. So super top-up, what happens is that there is a base deductible. So when you say that there is a base deductible of 5 lakh rupees, so whether it is 5 lakh rupees per claim, only if a claim exceeds 5 lakh, then every claim exceeds 5 lakh, then the top-up will get triggered. Those are simple top-up plans. Second are super top-up plans, where aggregately, if the sum insured of 5 lakh gets exhausted, then automatically the super top-up gets triggered.
Okay.
Now what happens is the larger the deductible. So if you have a deductible of 1 lakh rupee and a super top-up with a deductible of 1 lakh, it is going to be more costlier. And a super top-up with 5 lakh rupees deductible and 20 lakh rupees is going to be cheaper. Or a super top-up with a deductible of 10 lakh rupees. And over that, even 30 lakh or 40 lakh also would be much cheaper, because what is the average incidences of claims being below 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs? This actually determines what would be the premium. So higher the deductible, the cheaper the products are.
Thank you so much, Shreeraj sir. You have been kind enough to answer all the questions. Though there are many questions people are asking, but we would have to limit the question. And I am assuring people that we will have sir again on our various forums of AFM Club also, where we intend to deliver knowledge through veterans like sir. Thank you so much, Shreeraj sir, for being present on our AFM India 9th Annual Wealth Management Convention. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Reach out today and let's do it professionally.